I'm Matt Dupont from the Oil, Gas, and Salt Resources Library, and this is
I'm Brian Chen. I'm a GIS and database assistant from the library.
our talk today is using historical data sets to uncover legacy wells in Ontario. Really, it's how we do what's available to do a deep dive to uncover missing wells that missing from the Ontario well database. So the objective of the talk really provide information to everyone about the data sets available at the library.
I'll also point out some resources available at the library that could be explored further to uncover records of missing wells. And Brian will provide an example of a recent deep dive the library did to uncover missing wells.
As a bit of background, so as we've heard in the previous talk, and as everyone's well aware, the drilling for oil and gas has a very long history in Ontario. It basically started here. Due to different standards, we'll say, in record keeping and regulations, many of these old wells have been forgotten, and these can create risks, environmental and safety risks. So it's important to find these. Just going to go over a bit what the database is. The Ontario Petroleum Data System, OPDS. I'll refer to it from here on. It has over 27,000 records of oil and gas wells of an estimated 50,000. Every record that the MNR is in possession of has been digitized, is at the library available as well. There are some spots that we have that could be scraped for more to find these missing wells. So all of the source data is available at the library. It's on our website, and here are the two main tools to access them online. I'll go over the advanced search tool a little bit because many people don't realize how refined you can get with your searches. And then I'll cover a little bit about PX Tools, the Google Earth plugin we have too. Anybody involved with oil and gas, anything involved here should have this kind of visual display of where everything's situated in Ontario. It's a very powerful tool. So first, yes, the advanced search tool, it's right off the homepage. You see advanced search. There's a basic search as well, but that's really if you know your license number or like kind of a keyword that you can search for. But all these filters can be implemented to your study area to see what's there, and that can give you a good head start to see what might be missing. So when we do a deep dive, when we're asked to look something up, does it exist in the database? I've listed the most important filter options that we have. So, obviously filtering out by location, right? It's the most important thing. The records can be a little bit sketchy with their location. So then we have other filter options as well to try to find something that is in the database. Any search you make on our website can be exported as a layer for a GIS software or Google Earth as well. And that can be powerful to have your study and you export the well points that you've found and you can see them on a map right after. This slide's about our Google Earth plugin. There is a tutorial on our YouTube channel. Anyone who doesn't have it installed and would like to know how, it's very simple. Just a 1-minute tutorial, so there's nothing too involved there. Some examples of what you can do with PX Tools. So we have a collection of maps at the library, historic maps, and they exist as overlays in our on this Google Earth plugin. Areas that have coverage with hand-drawn well points, you can overlay it right on and compare it to the points in the database. You can see the old landowner or farm names are on there and where wells might be. Most of the dots have a close by data point that's in the database, but there are a few that don't. So that is an area that could be kind of scraped or looked into. So yeah, that note down there, only wells entered into OPDS show up in our tool, except for the maps. That would be the exception. So you can overlay a map and see if there are any, if anybody has drawn in a point that might not be in the database.
So these next few slides will be about some resources at the library that could be explored more or further for missing well records.
The well files themselves have sketches in them from the time, and they often have nearby wells too. And so that could be a good source to start looking into for any missing wells. Often the well files contain other lists of wells and just noted descriptions too that just mention things in passing. Stuff like that's hard to add to the database because it's not very concrete, but it could be like a point of interest. We have obviously our sample warehouse and core in our warehouse as well, and those have all been kind of cataloged on index cards several times over. So this slide's showing in our warehouse, the top image is a sample tray in our warehouse, and you can see that there's cards in there. Believe it or not, we have samples in our warehouse with the cards that aren't tied to any licenses in the database. So that, how can that be? Also, the drawers below was another card index of samples taken from wells in Ontario, started by the GSC and continued by the M&R. And nobody's really gone through those drawers to compare each record to see if there's anything missing. Sets like that could be very important in uncovering missing things from the database. We have a lot of these old reports, the Ontario Department of Mines reports, and they're a really valuable resource. They go back starting in 1891. A lot of these are available in a PDF format for anyone interested. They're from the time, and they talk about what was going on at the time. And a lot of the inspectors at the time, I've got a list of who they are after here, but they would go out and just talk to property owners and things like that, and just ask about wells in the area. And again, that's kind of hard to add to a database, but it is important information, and maybe we can look into how that could be done. Here's the list I said of the records custodians of the 19th and 20th century. A lot of reports by M.Y. Williams, and those listed below, like I mentioned, they would go out and talk to the people at the time and try to scrape as much data as they can. So you'll get things like so-and-so's field had 10 wells in this area, kind of descriptions. All kinds of reports at the library are available. I put this one on the slide because I just happened to be looking at it the other day and saw a study with a bunch of strat tests, and none of them were in the database. And they should be. People forget about strat tests, but it's a borehole that penetrates bedrock, and it's important to know about these. We have a lot of maps at the library. A lot of them have been digitized and added to our PX Tools tool for Google Earth, but there are still some that could be digitized and added as well. And these are great resources. Like I mentioned, they have a lot of them have hand-drawn well points and other location information, such as who owned what farm at the time. And if you've noticed anything about how wells have been named throughout history, it's often the farm name that's in there. So when you get some data and you get a location, you can compare it to see where it should be if anything was wrong about the data you have. The M&R produced a lot of maps as well. And again, a lot of those are on our PX tool. So very powerful tool to study this. We have these old ledgers, these giant old ledgers that the one pictured tracked rock pressures in gas wells. And these in particular have not been digitized yet by the library, and very well could be. I'm going to pass this off to Brian. We have a couple examples of a few records donations we've received, and he's going to speak a little bit more about the work done to do a deep dive and see what was missing.
Okay, thanks, Matt. So apart from the historical record that mentioned by Matt, thanks to the oil and gas industries, the libraries throughout the years managed to obtain more historical documents. And here are some examples of it. This is the Sanford Files donations, which obtained recently. In this collection, there's 10 blocks of wells records and also 500 of maps, or about 20,000 well cards in it. And also there's the well record donated by Union Gas, which contains more than 17 boxes of well cards, which is about 27,000 well documents in it. In the library, we use the advanced search tool that mentioned by Matt earlier. We cross-reference with the well documents, names, depths, and other informations like the formation logs to help us to match the well cards with the OPDS informations. For the difficulties and limitations during this matching process, the poor legibility of old handwriting well cards didn't help the matching, plus the obsession of using coarse writing during that time makes the work a bit more difficult. Plus the ownership change and the address or the mislabeling also make the matching have more uncertainties. Throughout the 2 years, we have managed to review more than 46,000 of well cards, and we managed to match 42,000 of them, and we've managed to find 400 new wells that can enter into the OPDS. There's also more records, which I'm going to talk about later. For the ones that can enter into OPDS, they're distributed across Kent, Lambton, and Haldimand. Just as I mentioned, there's also wells that can be categorized as petroleum wells. We categorize them as the exploring wells, records that indicate non-petroleum well types. We then using the information on the well cards to enter it into a GIS point shape files. All the well records and the information that I entered has now been entered into the OPDS well server. All records has been scanned and are available at the library website.
Okay, so in conclusion, everyone should have PX tools installed. It's this very powerful tool for looking into oil and gas wells and other types of boreholes covered under the Oil, Gas, and Salt Resources Act. There are a lot of data sets at the library that can be scraped for more. They're all available for anybody to come in and look at at any time. Strengthening our database is super important because these forgotten wells pose danger risks and environmental risks. Thank you.